I really enjoyed this. I saw a very early cut of it, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing it all kind of come together properly. Um, I'm going to begin by asking to kind of when you take on a project like this, and you kind of when you sort of when in those kind of early kind of conversations, to sign on to something to help you kind of understand the role and what you're kind of going to be doing. Are you given any concept art or imagery to go off, or is a lot of it in the early stages built on conversations and your own kind of imagination?
I'd say it's a mix of both. I don't know about you, but I got sent images, and there's obviously the audiobook which it was based off of. But Tony sent me some concept art for my character, which helped me kind of even just visually get an idea of who he was and the sort of the cheekiness of him, just from this little smile he had in one of the images I saw. So the imagery really helps kind of formulate everything else outside of that, for sure.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I mean, obviously it's very early stages, so you're kind of I got it like a little sketch of her, but it does anything helps to create the image in your brain and create the character, and then obviously talking about it a lot helps as well. And just know as much information as you can get about your character before.
Yeah. And Asa, I first interviewed you 10 years ago for X and Y, I think it was, all those years ago. And
Yeah.
I remember it quite well. I remember one of your younger siblings, who was very young at the time, was kind of entertaining all the press in the holding area. And which got me
Sounds
thinking.
about right.
So when you make films like this now, is it nice to know that you still have kind of younger family members that can kind of enjoy them? Does that ever play into you picking a project when you know that it could be watched by close family members like younger brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I think it does. I've got two younger sisters, and I've got a lot of cousins who are younger than me as well. And yeah, a lot of the jobs I've done in recent years have been too mature and about topics that they're not interested in or aren't relevant to a 10-year-old. So it's nice to tell a story which is as universal as this is, and has sort of captures that sort of childhood wonder and magic, for sure.
Because I love this idea of a kind of the land of sometimes. It kind of taps into this sort of limitless imagination of a child. Do you both remember ever having anything kind of you believed in as children that was obviously maybe back then maybe a bit silly? Because for example, I used to think that eating sand made me stronger, and I would go to the beach and just have a mouthful of sand, which is horrible, and I didn't get strong either. Yeah.
Um, God, anything. I mean, there are the things like there's the classic things your parents would tell you to try and get you to like eat carrots because you can see in the dark. Don't watch too much TV or your eyes will go square. How much of those I actually believed, I can't really remember. Um, yeah, I don't know. Nothing that sticks out for me.
I I had like I like really believed in like imaginary friends. Like I had two, like I really believed in them. Like they were real to me until like pretty old, which was kind of concerning. But anyway, but yeah, I like really believed in imaginary friends.
Do you
Quite
think?
sad.
Do you think?
I did have friends, I promise.
We've all
Well,
got.
before I move on, Alicia, what were their names, your imaginary friends?
I had one that was called Gordy. Then you know what the other one's name was? I don't know. Remember the other one? It was a monkey, but I don't know what the other one was the same.
But do you think, in regards to kind of keeping hold of that childlike wonder, do you think acting is a profession that kind of keeps you young of heart in many ways? Because the whole industry is built on adventure and make believe in some ways.
Um, I think so. I remember when I was a kid and acting before I'd really learnt how to act. It's exactly that. It's just make believe, and you're kind of tapping into that, um, the sort of your imagination and the walls that you don't have as an adult, because you can't sort of just run around pretending there are sort of wizards and monsters in the real world. Can't people look at you like you're crazy? But when you're a kid, you can do that, and so you do. I think especially when you're doing an animation and when you're doing things with a lot of green screen and like things that aren't there, you have to sort of switch off the rational part of your brain, which develops as you get older, and reconnect with this sort of childhood, the play, the make believe, the the sort of fun that comes with that for sure.
So run me through the kind of experience of making an animation like this for an actor. Is it as isolated as it kind of is reported to be? Do you get to meet any of the other actors during the process, or is it very much alone in a booth? I mean, had you guys met during the making of this?
It is very isolated and alone. We did meet, but
Not for very long.
no, not for
Yeah, it
very
was only
long, like
about 15.
yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't long. But it's obviously very different to live action film, because you are on your own in a booth, like you said, just kind of reading your own lines, and that does kind of make it a little bit more difficult because you don't really have someone there to give you the other line and act off that, which kind of does make it a little bit more tricky. But I think then when you see like clips, it's really helpful when you're doing it. But for me, what I love is so much is that about animation, and why I do it is because you get to capture so much things that you can't capture with a camera, which makes it so much more amazing. And like you said, you know what, touching into like make believe and things like that, you can just create this incredible magical world that you can't capture in real life, which, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, is it always? I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of actors will watch, they enjoy watching things they're in. Some don't like to watch anything they're in. Is it easier and maybe more enjoyable when it's an animation to watch something you've kind of been a part of? Because do you reckon you can kind of get lost in it in the same way a viewer can? Because there's that slight disconnect with the material.
I think so. I think it's two reasons. One, yeah, there's more disconnects, but two, when you're working sort of live action, you could have can see what it's going to look like, whether you can see the monitor and you know what the sets are like. With animation, other than the sort of visuals that you see, the sort of rough visuals that you might see in the booth, you don't really know what it's going to look like when it comes together. And there might be a year between you doing your last session or more and you actually seeing something. So you also forget bits that you've done, and then so you can be surprised by things like, oh, I remember that scene. And there's an excitement that comes with animation because you don't have to look at your own face, which is inherently just not that nice.
Yeah, because I saw an early. You have a lovely face. I saw an early cut,
That was fun.
and I know I know this is a kind of little while off release, and it kind of got me thinking because it reminded me really how long the kind of filmmaking process can be. What is this period of waiting like for actors when you've made the thing? Sometimes it could be 6 months, sometimes it could be 18 months, and you're kind of waiting for it to come out. How do you kind of get used to that period of time as an actor when you're just waiting for the thing you did to be released?
I mean, for animation as well, you kind of do it in chunks. So, like, I live in Ireland, so I'd fly over and I'd do like a big chunk in one day and then I'd go home. And so then it's a little bit weird getting back into it the next month, and then you have to go back there and then almost, you forget about it and then you go back. So it's on off, on off. But I think once you finish it, you kind of just, you move on and then you can just be excited for it because it is such a long, especially in animation, it's such a long editing time, and to see it all come together. And then, like you said, when you get to see it, it's so much more exciting because you've forgot almost a lot of it that you've done, and so it comes as a shock to you. So yeah, you kind of just keep going.
Yeah, I think it's the same for me. Especially if you're sort of doing a few, if you're keeping busy, then when things come out, it's like this nice reminder of that time, and it's such a specific period of time um, that has a very sort of definitive beginning and end. And it's so intense for that period of time you're doing it that when it comes out, it brings back all of the memories and fun and humor and jokes and things that happened then. And you're watching it like, oh, I remember that day because this happened and that happened, and it's like a little trip down memory lane.
And I was going to, my sort of final kind of questions really is, Asa, you were, I mean, you are sort of were one of the most kind of prominent and successful kind of child actors of your generation. And of course, Alisha, you're certainly well underway yourself. So I was wondering, Asa, what kind of advice, having kind of started at equally a kind of young age, would you give to Alisha and kind of navigating your way around this industry?
Um, oh, tough question. I mean, you're doing great, so keep doing what you're doing. Keep experiencing life outside of just the work because that's where I draw so much inspiration. and have your friends and your family support you and help you make decisions and trust yourself, and and you'll smash it.
Yeah, because just quickly, is it strange, Jason? You're no longer the kind of young one on set. Now having others look up to you. Do you remember a point in your career when that happened, when it stood out and you sort of went onto a set on a movie and went, hang on, I'm not the kid now.
Yeah, actually, it was when I did a film called Journey's End, and I think it was like 2018, and I think I just turned. No, it was before that. I think I just turned 19, so it would have been 2016, and it was the first time I remember I was coming onto set, and it's a World War One film, so it's quite all the themes are quite adult, and I was playing one of the officers in this sort of group of officers, and I remember thinking, oh wow, I feel like we're all on a level playing field here, and we're all contributing, and we all got the same amount of respect for each other. And I didn't feel like the young actor on set, and that was quite a nice, quite affirming moment for me in my career, which was cool.
Brilliant. I think that's all I've got time for. But I just wanted to say, yeah, the songs in this were really catchy. But Alisha, nothing's been in my head as much as the song "Naughty" from Matilda over like the last 2 years. So I just want to enjoy anything, not just get that song out of my head for now.
Yeah, that's good.
But thank you so much, guys. Best of luck with the release of the film, and it's been really nice to chat to you both.
Thanks, Stefan. Take care. Bye bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!